Background: Marsha Marley was born in 1958 in Northumberland to parents Sheila Willis and William Marley, who had married in 1956. Sister Sheila Belinda Marley, known as Belinda, followed in 1964 and completed the Marley family unit. The Marleys lived in Northumberland, the least densely populated county of England. Situated in the far northeast of the country, it features pretty rural landscapes such as the Cheviot Hills and North Pennines, flattening out to a long sandy coastline, popular with tourists in the summer, and scattered with famous sites such as Lindisfarne, known as Holy Island, Hadrian's Wall, and Bamburgh Castle. For a young family, it makes for a great setting in which to grow up, and much of Marsha's family have remained there throughout their lives. Following completion of her high school education, Marsha moved 2.5 hours south to the Yorkshire city of Leeds to train as a nurse. Here she met Colin Wray, a civil engineer born in 1948 in Leeds, and 10 years older than Marsha. She and Colin married in 1979 in Northumberland. Initially, they lived together in the Leeds suburb of Bramley, before finally settling in a semi-detached house in 35 Forest Lane, Harrogate, a fashionable spa town commonly cited as one of the most affluent in the UK. Their first child, Philippa Ann Wray, was born in 1988 and followed in 1991 by son Robert Allen Wray. Marsha worked as a nurse at Harrogate District Hospital, just 1.5 miles from the family home. Marsha goes missing. The mystery of Marsha's disappearance began on the wintry morning of the 24th of January, 1997. At around 9 a.m., Marsha dropped 10-year-old Philippa and 7-year-old Robert at Hookstone Chase Primary School, just 0.7 miles from the family home, in her red Austin Metro Quest car, following a night shift at Harrogate District Hospital. Marsha was last seen alive when she turned left out of the road on which the school was situated. If she was planning on returning straight to the family home, she should, in theory, have turned right. More on that later. However, Marsha did not turn up to collect her children from school as planned that afternoon. This was the first time that Marsha had not turned up to collect them. Police described her as a devoted and loving mother who would always do so or ensure someone else would if she was otherwise engaged. However, it was not until 10 days later, on the 3rd of February, and after Marsha had apparently not been seen or heard from by her husband, children, or other family since the 24th of January, that her disappearance was finally reported to police by her sister, Belinda. Marsha is described as being 5 feet 2 inches tall, with fair to blonde collar-length hair at the time she disappeared. She weighed around 9 stones, occasionally wore glasses, and had a mole on the left side of her face. The initial investigation, despite media appeals for the public to come forward with any sightings of Marsha or other information which could assist the inquiry, no positive sightings of her were established after she left her children's school on the 24th of January. However, North Yorkshire Police did soon establish some intriguing and concerning information regarding the movements of Marsha's car, a red Austin Metro with the registration K 426 UVV. The car had been seen a number of times in the car park of Nid Valley Gorge, Knaresborough, from the morning of the 24th of January through to the 28th of January, 4 days after she disappeared. Nid Valley Gorge is a local 114-acre beauty spot made up of a steep-sided valley surrounded by 5 woodlands, through which the River Nid runs east to west. The car park where Marsha's car was sighted is located just 2.6 miles from the Wray family home, approximately a 10-minute drive. The car then disappeared and was not seen again for a month. In the meantime, following notification by Marsha's sister of her disappearance, on the 3rd of February, North Yorkshire Police searched the River Nid using dive teams and neighbouring force West Yorkshire Police, assisted by deploying their force helicopter with heat-seeking technology to scan the area around Nid Valley Gorge. Land searches in the gorge area also took place. Checks at airports and ports across the country were carried out, and Interpol and other UK police forces consulted to ensure Marsha had not left the country. None of these searches found Marsha or any useful leads. The first significant break in the case came when Marsha's car resurfaced on the 28th of February when police in Leeds stopped it while it was being driven by 2 youths. The youths told police they had stolen the car around the 27th of February from Holland Lane in Headingley, a suburb of Leeds 19 miles and roughly a 40-minute drive from Nid Valley Gorge, and around 17 miles from Marsha's family home in Harrogate. Local witnesses confirmed the account of the youths that the car had been left in Holland Lane, parked and undamaged, prior to their taking the car. However, nobody could say who had parked the car there, or precisely when over the previous month this occurred. Colin later noted in an interview with the media that he and Marsha often socialized in the Headingley area, so Marsha would have been familiar with the locale where the car was found, but stated that he had no idea how the car got there. The police questioned the 2 youths, but eliminated them from the inquiry. A forensic examination of the vehicle provided no information as to where it had been or who had been driving it over the previous month, and the car was soon returned to Colin, where it remained on the driveway of the family home for a number of years. Murder, suicide, accident, or purposeful disappearance. Other than the reappearance of the car, there was little information for the police to go on in the aftermath of Marsha's disappearance, and they initially continued to investigate the case as a missing person. In March 1997, Colin made a public appeal for Marsha to come forward. During this appeal, he claimed his wife's personality had changed in the weeks prior to her disappearance, saying, "We always had trust, care, and affection, but my wife, who I loved, suddenly changed to me. In the weeks leading up to Christmas, she started to get insecure, unstable, and very depressed." He also claimed it was possible Marsha was having an affair, and that she had become difficult with their children, too. When asked if he thought Marsha may have run away, Colin said he believed she was capable of anything. She avoided all our friends. She certainly seemed to be wanting a totally new existence. Police investigated the possibility that Marsha had committed suicide. She had recently experienced some trauma in her life, with a close friend suffering a brain hemorrhage and dying in front of her in November 1996. However, police soon made it clear that they believed, from their investigations and information provided by family and friends, it was highly unlikely Marsha would have harmed herself. Suicide also seemed unlikely, given that no body was ever recovered, and in particular the mysterious movements of her car in the aftermath of the disappearance. Police also queried whether Marsha could have purposefully disappeared to start a new life. However, no sightings of Marsha after dropping off her children at school were ever reported, and no contact has ever been made with family or friends. Inquiries with Marsha's bank showed her account remained untouched. There was no evidence of Marsha traveling abroad or that she was still alive after the 24th of January. Police also ruled out the possibility of an accident, believing that searches over the months following her disappearance would have led to the recovery of her remains had this been the case. By early 1998, Police were working with the hypothesis that Marsha had been murdered on the day she disappeared and changed the inquiry from a missing person to a murder investigation.